Okay, so today we're going to be making the Beurre Blanc and the Beurre Rouge sauces. So the main difference is in the Beurre Blanc, it's going to be a white sauce. We're going to be using a white wine that's going to be kind of creamy because we're adding heavy cream. And then in the Beurre Blanc sauce, we're just using red wine. So the first ingredient was 5 shallots, but I didn't have time to go to the grocery store, so I just went to Walmart and they didn't have shallots. So I did a little reading online, and it said that in place of 5 shallots, you could use one medium-sized onion. So I just chopped that up pretty much as finely as I could. It says in the book that the shallots add a little sweetness to the sharpness of the vinegar, so it probably won't add the same flavor, but we're gonna see how that works out. So I have my one onion that I have chopped, and then I'm going to be adding half cup of heavy whipping cream. So I'm just using Prairie Farms heavy whipping cream, and then I have 1/4 cup of white wine vinegar, and so I'm just using the Spectrum organic white wine vinegar. Using a 1/3 cup of dry white wine. I'm just using Chardonnay Sterling Collection, and then I have 3 sticks of Great Value sweet cream and salted butter. So the first thing I'm doing is just adding the chopped onion along with the white wine and the white wine vinegar. And then I'm just going to bring this to a boil until it reduces to about 1/4 of a cup. So we're going to let that boil for a little bit. So this is what it looks like after the white wine has been reduced. As you can tell, there's still a lot of onion chunks, and I predict that there's going to be a lot of onion chunks in the final outcome because I didn't use the shallots. So next we're just going to add the heavy cream and then reduce it to 1/4 a cup again. So So this is after the heavy whipping cream has been reduced. This took about 10 minutes. As you can see, it's still predominantly just onion chunks, so it's a little bit more than 1/4 of a cup. So the next step is we're just going to remove this from the heat, and we're going to add the butter, and we're going to keep whisking it in hopes that the onions will cut. Now if the butter doesn't continue to melt, you can continue to heat it over a low heat, but you don't want to have the temperature reach above 130 degrees, so you want to monitor the temperature at all times. So this is after I added the butter in. It has a really mild buttery flavor, but the onion does give it a little bit of sweet tasting to it. I added just a little bit of salt because it was very mild. So the taste or the flavor is really good, but as you can see, it's still got these just chunks of straight onion, which I don't really think would have happened if I used the shallots, which is what I said at the beginning. So I think I'm going to try to go out and find some tomorrow and use that for the Beurre Rouge sauce. So, and we'll see how that works out. Okay, so next we're going to make the Beurre Rouge sauce, which I said before is a red wine based sauce. Um, Again, we're going to be using 5 shallots that I actually did go out and buy today, so hopefully that'll intensify the flavor a little bit and kind of make it turn out like it was supposed to. So the red wine that we're going to be using today is just this Grand Vin that I kind of had laying around the house. And then the shallots, and I'm going to use this Great Value sweet cream unsalted butter, just like I used in the recipe before. And then it's just going to have a little lemon and salt to taste. So the first thing that we're going to do is I put the 5 shallots in a blender with about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the red wine. And so now I'm just going to puree this so that it adds a little bit of texture and flavor since we aren't using cream or anything. Pureed the shallots, and I actually ended up adding about 4 or 5 tablespoons of the red wine in just because it wasn't really mixing together. So as you can kind of see, it's very purified, almost like smoothie like. So now I'm just gonna put this in over high heat along with the rest of the bottle of red wine. Okay, so now I'm just gonna heat this until it reduces until about a third of a cup. Okay, so this is what it looks like after about 20 minutes of boiling. I had started it over a medium heat, which is maybe why it took me a little bit longer. Um, it said in the book to reduce it to about 1/3 of a cup, but as you can see, it looks to me like it's a little more than a third of a cup, but I reduced it until basically it was just the shallot puree, which is, as you can see now, has turned into a very thick paste, which is definitely going to add a lot of texture. So now I've taken it off the heat and I'm just going to add the 3 sticks of butter. Again, making sure that the temperature does not exceed 130 degrees. So this is what the sauce looks like after I've added the butter, the lemon juice, and the salt. Surprisingly, the butter made it super creamy, which I wasn't really expecting, and the red wine gives it a little bit of a bitter taste. So I haven't made either of these recipes before, but I know both of them pair good with fish, but I made um, salmon with a Beurre Blanc sauce last night, so I think I'm just going to experiment with this and maybe put it on a little pasta.